Real short break here on VRCDJLIVE, and we are doing it live here in VKet and on remote, of course. And we're trying to not only get to hang out with everybody and talk to everybody, because everything is important, especially when it comes to these types of weeks, but even more so that we have just a few days left of VKet, and it makes me sad. But at the same time, you know, we have all these opportunities for these past weeks to talk to everybody. And fun enough, we have a very special guest with us today who has done just an extreme amount of VTubing, an extreme amount of just content creation on the internet. Everyone, please welcome Skull's Nightshade to our booth.
Hello everyone.
Now, obviously, we've got a ton of things to talk about with VKet, but I would assume this isn't your first VKet, is it?
It is my first one.
Oh my gosh, I need to hear everything about
I've gotten was seeing some of the worlds like before during like some of the world hops and a little bit before that, but yeah, this was my first actual VKet, like virtual market event.
So talk to us. Has it been a little intimidating? Do you think that there's just been a lot of things to experience here, or do you think that it's just a perfect amount for the past 2 weeks?
Well, I'd say on the content creator side of it, like being an official collab streamer, that part was a little intimidating because I didn't really know what to expect. You know what I mean? Everyone has their different way of streaming. Like, there's kind of no real way to know what to expect there. Other than that, I love stuff like this. I absolutely love stuff like this. I love like big immersive worlds. I love like interactive worlds and things like this. And I love conventions. That's something I used to do IRL a lot. So it definitely like kind of snuggled me with all of those things I like. And I think it's just the right amount. It might be overwhelming if you're trying to see everything in maybe 1 or 2 days, but if you space it out, like it's it is definitely a very, very good experience. So
I will say that it's been a very well. I don't want to be the old guy here, but it's been a couple of years since I've actually dedicated time to do VRChat streams how I used to do it. And I know a couple weeks ago we did like 5.5 hours, 6 hours, and I had the full body, and I was like up and standing, and you know, right now I'm in a chair, so obviously that's cool. But but up and dancing and moving and standing for that a long amount of time, like, man, oh man, I slept real good that night because of all the just all the exercise that I did. And at the same time, like, me and my friends were like, man, oh man, we have to do some like stretching or making sure that we're malleable, I guess, to walk around VKet, because it just takes a very long time to get through to places.
Oh yeah, it's definitely comfy to go through when you're sitting, but the experience is so much better when you're like standing and able to like reach everything and kind of like, you know, participate a bit more. Yeah, it definitely can take a lot out of you. I just really got back into VR streaming. It's something I've done kind of on and off. Like I would do like maybe my birthday, we'd hang out in VRChat, or like New Year's, we'd hang out in VRChat. That was kind of something we do every year. But yeah, getting back into it was exhausting. I was so tired the first day. I did like an 8-hour stream in VR, and I was just like, oh.
I don't know how they do it. Yeah,
I slept really well too.
It's what has been one of the things that you, or some of the things that you enjoy kind of taking a look at here in VKet? Like, do you like the booths? Do you like the outfits? About the experience of it all?
Well, I'm known as a fashion VTuber, so definitely the outfits. I would say the outfits, the all the fashion stuff, number one. The boots are really cool. Like it's really cool to see everyone's unique take on the boots. Just because like I don't know, they could be sitting side by side. You could have 10 in a row. They could be all technically the same base booth, but there's so much different stuff going on. Some even like drag you into things. Some are like a whole like one was like a whole like ride through, I don't remember where we were, through like some kind of like work scenario and like trying to find like a career, and it was, I don't know, it was awesome. Other than that, like the worlds, of course, I love aesthetic. That's so cool. So like I've seen some worlds like the Bewitched forest. That's probably one of my favorite visually. And the Starship one is my favorite too because I like space and like, you know, glowy colors and all that.
Now, you were saying that you were getting back into VRChat. When was the first time that you started to kind of explore VRChat? Before, like, now?
2017, I think. I
Ooh.
didn't have VR at all. I played in desktop mode. One of my friends really liked it and was like, "Hey, you should check this game out." And the first thing we did together, and I got like addicted to doing this, was public instance Never Have I Ever. So, so that was a really interesting experience. I had some really interesting interactions that way, but I don't know. I feel like until I actually was able to like bring myself into VR chat instead of like, other things like that, like I just didn't fully connect. Like I loved it. It was fun. I saw how fun it could be, but it just didn't feel like I was in it. And I play MMOs and stuff and RPGs. I love like a good like self-insertion and now that I've done it, I think this is taking the cake as like one of my favorite ways to spend time.
I know when I first got in around 2018, there was a lot of people because my first headset was a Vive, and
Yeah.
a lot of the people that I was talking to, they were just like, try not to just do PC, just try not to do like desktop mode because
Yeah.
like if you could try to be in VR, it does take another level of just immersion that you won't get from the PC
Hmm.
the desktop version. Even on desktop version, you get clarity and stuff based on your setup, but having a
Yeah.
VR setup is something else. And I think
It's so
the
different.
most distracting thing in my opinion for VR chat is when you do get your headset and you run into
Hmm.
that thing or that person or that experience that you've always wanted to, and then you're literally like face
Hmm.
to face with them as if like this is a
Yes,
4D experience with a so and so, like your favorite so and so.
exactly.
Yeah, and then you're just like you're like fidgeting and
Yeah.
just being like, this is what I was dreaming about, but I didn't know if it would be real or not. You're like, I'm here.
Yes. I remember the first time I hugged one of my friends in VR chat. It was awesome. It was awesome. That's one of the first things I did when I got a headset. My best friend was like, "We have to hug." I'm like, "Okay, we'll go hug." But it's really cool because like I've been doing creation for a long time, so I don't really like I don't know. I guess by default, my job requires me to be terminally online.
Hmm.
So I'm online all the time, and all my friends are online. Like it's basically my entire life at this point, and I don't really get to like just go meet my friends often. It's actually been a pretty long time since I've seen the majority of my friends in person.
Hmm.
So it's cool to like meet friends and be able to like hug my friends and kiss them on the cheek and like play with their hair and like stuff like that. Like that's really cool.
I know we have lots of discussions on VRC DJ Live recently about the fact that like a lot of the DJ communities in VR, obviously they host events and festivals here in the space, and those are free to go to. But they've gotten to the point where they're just like,
Hmm.
I really want an IRL experience. I want to have a show at somewhere, some major city, and then people can flock over there, and we can just not only spend all of our regular time here, but have even more special time down the road at these really big DJ events. And what's so fascinating is trying
Yeah.
to find the balance between, do I want to spend the money to fly out there to experience that, or we could just continue to stay in here, with the all the thousands of dollars of technology to just explore and hang out with
Yeah.
each other all the time. And it's fascinating for a lot of people that don't understand that we do that like this, but I can't see it happening any other way outside of holograms or something, some space, whatever.
Yeah, that's the first thing I thought of was like having a show here and then having like your DJ like area kind of projected, kind of like how they do with like VTuber concerts nowadays. And I mean, it's becoming more and more accessible. It's
Hmm.
one of those things that was kind of like so far, like, I don't know, it's like, okay, yeah, I can do that if I have like a giant team behind me, but it's starting to become more and more accessible. So I could see DJs doing that a lot.
Yeah.
And another thing I thought of was kind of like not exactly the same, but I was thinking about how like VCat Real is going to be.
Hmm.
Like you could also have like maybe if you have like I don't know, I guess a marathon of DJ events, you could have maybe one or two of them like in a physical venue. Unfortunately, everyone wouldn't be able to do it, but it would be kind of cool to have like those layers to it.
It's surprising. It's just surprising enough that this year VCAT has had so many official. I guess I want to say it like this: official uh, DJ events, and it's
Hmm.
surprising me because again, not to toot my own horn here, but I did get to perform at Music VCAT Zero like the very first one. So
Yay! That's awesome.
getting that
No, toot your
experience,
horn, toot toot.
toot toot.
That's awesome.
But not only doing that, but like there was only one event, you know, and even I
Hmm.
think at music, it was like Music VKet 3 or 4 where they had one major event, and we filled that sucker. We had about 80 people in that map, and it was amazing. But now it
Yeah,
seems that this year there's just so many other things to do, and the DJ community has grown so large. But even so much so at
yeah.
VCat Real, you know, we have the technology now where we can have a virtual mirror, as what it's called, where you could be at the venue,
Hmm.
and then you can have a camera focusing on them as a camera's focusing on us in virtual, and then we can look at each other and with
Yeah,
each other at the same time with a projection in IRL world. And that happens. That
exactly.
happens
That
way
would be
too
really
often.
cool.
Yeah. it
Yeah.
but it's also quirky too, because it's like when you're IRL with your friends, I feel like that's a whole different vibe compared to, you know, I feel
Yeah,
like
like
how
dancing
we.
with your friends.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
obviously, it's a big shocker to you, but I don't look like this in real life. So, like, for me to dress like this at TwitchCon or something, you know, it's just like,
Hmm.
Rob, what are you doing? I'm just like, what do you mean? Like, that's what I just like. No, I'm kidding. Uh,
Yeah. I mean, you're not required to though. Like
no.
some people do. It's becoming actually more common now that people like dress up. Because like I used to kind of dress as my character at conventions, but like I would literally be the only one doing that. Or like maybe one other person doing that. But I think with especially like VTubing being so popular now, like um it's easier to like, bridge that gap and like make your thing like real. But it's not required.
Hmm.
Like people are gonna love you either way and what you do. That voice is killer, so that's all that matters. As long as you bring the voice with you, you'll be fine.
Oh, my voice, despite the fact that this is Rob Roman's
Hmm.
voice. Okay, that's fair. I mean, that's 10 years of radio talking, so like I've had the experience. But more importantly, too, especially since we're kind of wrapping up VCAT a little bit more, I know it's not going to be that we're far distance away from each other, especially because while the VTuber community and the VR chat community share, you know, likenesses when it comes to VTubing and stuff like that. Talk to us a little bit about your journey recently as a VTuber, and even in the market. I know that's kind of a very broad
Hmm.
topic, but it does seem like every year there's more and more VTubers that are really trying to test the waters, and also you know, attempt to be in like a scenario like you, for example.
Yeah, yeah. So as far as like experience, like, do you mean like related to VR chat with VTubing?
No, just your personal experience and because what you got going. Like I again, I'm not a VTuber, so I don't know what it's like on that
Yeah, of course.
side of the planet. So just kind of take us
Yeah,
into how
yeah.
you've been kind of seeing the landscape when it comes to VTubing nowadays.
Um, it's a lot different. This year has been a very, very unique year for VTubing. So, I don't know. It's hard. I feel like a lot of people, including myself, are kind of finding their place. Like I've done this for a very, very long time. Um, and it's kind of rough to admit, but I feel like more recently I've been kind of finding like what I'm good at, what I can do, like what I enjoy doing the most. Kind of like, I mean, if you think of any career, that it doesn't happen overnight, the kind of the overnight success is so uncommon, but we see it like in our face a lot of times. So people think that that's how that happens, but it usually
Mm,
doesn't. So I've noticed that with a lot of people. On the negative side of that, I've noticed a lot of people like kind of like quitting or pulling back or taking hiatuses and things like that. So I think this year really was like, I don't know, kind of like a not sink or swim, but something kind of like parallel to that. You know what I mean? So the scene's changed a little bit. I feel like everyone who's there is really passionate about what they do. I mean, people who may not have had that passion or may change their mind pulled back a lot from it. With that being said, it's kind of funny to me that I noticed watching VR chat streams more. Not a lot of VR chat streamers really consider themselves like VTubers. You know what I mean?
right.
Like they stream in VR chat, they stream with an avatar. Technically, by definition, that's a VTuber, but they don't really like promote themselves as a VTuber. Which I understand because I do because like technically, yes, I'm a VTuber, but I try to promote myself as a content creator, as to not be in like a bubble. And with this market, I mean, I've met a lot of other creators. I've met a lot of like VTubers, people who, do VR chat streams, don't consider themselves VTubers, people who just started doing it but have been in the VR scene for a long time. And I don't know, it seems like VR chat it's like a mixing pot. You know what I mean? It like brings together people from all experiences, and then we get to share those similarities, like, VR chat players and streamers and VTubers, and like it's just, I don't know. It's amazing. Ultimately, it's amazing. And I think next year some really big things are going to happen on both sides. I can really see it kind of like exploding in that way.
It's always it's super important for our community to get a good idea of what we're going to be seeing into the new year, especially because I feel like we do get a
Yeah.
little blindsided based on popularity things and popular things, and we continue to feed into
Yeah.
things that a lot of other people may enjoy. And again, being in here for
Hmm.
such a long time, uh, and being able to see year after year how content creation is created in here is definitely
Hmm.
eye-opening, because I feel like even this year alone, with all the different things between VCat and the things that we do in here, it is a little difficult to get an understanding of what's either A, going to be made, or B, what's going to be available in 2025. But being
Yeah.
able to experience VR chat right now, I feed off of your positive. I feed off of your optimism, because
Yeah.
for someone like me who has seen all the different changing of the seasons based on the type of content that we have been creating for the past couple of years, it's hard to determine what's going to be happening down the road for the VR chat category, even on Twitch. And
Yeah.
even too, without sounding too negative about it, but like the ongoing battles between what is acceptable for a VTuber to wear compared to a VR chat player to wear. And I know that recently has been a
Oh,
very,
yeah.
very controversial topic amongst both communities, because people in VR
Yeah.
chat just say, well, I'm going to go ahead and ruin my career and just do it anyway. And I'm like, this is the internet, bro. Like, you can't do that. Like, it forever stays
Yeah,
on the
it's really
internet.
strange.
Yeah.
It's really strange, and I hate that it's kind of like I don't know. I've never understood that. I've been on Twitch for 10 years now, creating content. I guess technically 10 and a half with not creating content. And I mean, some of their decisions are, I don't really understand them.
Mm,
That's one because it kind of started a little mini war between like VTubers and VR, which shouldn't be the case anyway. Like that's not on them for that happening. But I mean, I feel like you kind of created the catalyst for that, with especially with like VTubers going through so much, with kind of feeling targeted on Twitch. Um, because like we talk about VTubers and VR chat, but then there's the IRL chat, and that's almost like a whole different website with a whole different age rating. You know what I
mm-hmm,
mean?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So it's been weird, but then they kind of like took like the virtual world and they're like, how about we shake this up a little bit and make it like this for one side and this for another? And I don't know. Like I hope we can find some kind of happy medium with that. I kind of like it because like, well, I mean, I don't exactly like that, but like to me it's kind of interesting because it leads me to like, if I want to do stuff that's a little not glued, but a little not, my hips are showing because Twitch doesn't like hips.
Right.
Then I can like jump in VR chat and like we could go like hang out and do like a like
Beach
pool
episode.
stream or something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, exactly, exactly. And it does suck that we can't do that with our 2D models and like I mean, 3D outside of VR chat, but it does kind of like push me to do other things because I'm like, okay, well, and I love VR fashion, so it just gives me another excuse to buy fashion too. So
I promise you that if you're not into 3D modeling yet, you're gonna. Outside of
that's what everyone
VCat,
keeps saying.
yeah, like
Hmm.
outside of VCat, like you're gonna get to a point where you're gonna be like, number one, I really enjoy these articles of clothing here, and you'll also see how cheap they can be.
Hmm.
But also too, like from what I've heard from some other model makers, that creating models in VR chat have gotten a little bit easier with conjoined weights and stuff.
Hmm.
And all of that is awesome, because again, for someone like a fashionista yourself, like you're gonna want to wear every
Hmm.
outfit. You're gonna want a cute Christmas outfit, you're
Yes,
gonna want a New Year's outfit, you're gonna want a
yes,
Easter
I
outfit.
do. I
uh,
want it all.
but as soon as you start learning how to do that, man, oh man, that's where a lot of your time is going to be focused on, is just making the next greatest thing. And Honestly, too, this might
Yeah,
actually be the year for you to do that, because it could just be something as simple as that.
exactly, exactly. Well, ultimately, I feel like 2025 is going to be like a year of passion, and I I don't really know how to explain that any further. But hopefully, it's all on the good side.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
what are some
We've
of
had a
the
crazy year this year.
what are some of the goals that you have set up for 2025 that will lead into your passion?
For me, I want to really hone in on those things that I enjoy doing, like hosting events. This year, I planned on doing a lot of events, but I was trying to like also balance streaming full time almost every day and hosting events and things like that. And I like to coordinate my own events too, which I didn't have a lot of time to do. So I spent a lot of this year hosting other events, and like some I would help, but it wasn't like my events. So next year I want to take more time for that. I'm definitely going to take more time for music. Now that I've kind of like met some people who do like photography and video shooting, I want my music videos to be in like VRChat and things like that. Um, Let's see. What
Because I
else
know
do I have
you've
planned?
seen a
I just
lot of
kind
those
of
videos
want to.
too, in here of how
Yes.
awesome cinematography can be.
Yes, it's some of the boots. I'm like, whoa, they did that in VR
Yeah.
chat. That's crazy. But yeah, ultimately I want next year to be a positive year because like I said, I've done this for a while, and sometimes in entertainment there's no real like baseline of how to get where you want to get,
Hmm.
and it doesn't always just work out perfectly. So I feel like I spent a lot of time kind of not resenting that, but being frustrated with not being where I want to be rather than just focusing on like doing what I love. And ironically enough, this year I spent a lot of time doing what I love and like just kind of just going in and not being like, oh, well, I should fit in this slot or I should be this type of creator. And it's been awesome. It's been good all around. And I just want to like take that and just and kind of start on a better foot, start on a better foot. I can't be like, oh, the past and this and that. No, we got to move forward.
That's what I'm
And I've met
saying.
so many people, like including yourself in here, that like have such good vibes and make me very, very hopeful to move forward. And like know that I have like cool people around me who are helpful, who are knowledgeable, and who are just, good people deep down. So
I
yeah.
feel like I've been spending the latter of 2 weeks like talking about all of the garbage videos about VR chat on YouTube recently, but at the same time we can't not talk
Yeah.
about it because clickbait is definitely a thing up on there. But trying to find the avenues and creating the avenues for more positive content that relates to our community, and building a
Yeah.
much taller village, I think is the best thing when it comes to our community in general, and even the community, the Raiders that just came in.
Exactly.
But welcome everybody. Welcome to VRCDJ Live, and Mega, thank
Hi,
you for the
Raiders.
raid. We are here live at VKet, and we're hanging out with Skull's Nightshade here, and talking about
Hey.
VTubing, and also a lot of VR chat stuff, because it's sad to say that VKet is only a couple of days away from being over,
I
and it's
know.
sad, but at the same time too, like, you know it's not meant to be here all the time. It's the same thing as like anime conventions. Like,
Yeah,
we
that's what
love
makes it
anime
special.
conventions, yeah, and we
Exactly.
we we spend time and enjoy them, but we also have regular life stuff to do, and all that sort of thing. But
Yeah.
we're just kind of feeding into what we've been doing here in VCat, and honestly too, Skulls and I have been a collab streamer this entire time for VCat. So tell us a
Mhm.
little bit about that
Yes.
experience for you, and being able to be a part of the collab stream this year.
Oh, it's awesome. It is amazing. I love events, so this just is perfect for me. I was nervous. I mentioned that earlier. I was nervous at first because I didn't really know what to expect, and like this is an event to a scale that like I've never hosted. And granted, I'm not like, hi, I'm the main host of the event, but I do feel a responsibility to like VCAT to do a good job, to present everything in a way that's like true to these creators, to the world builders, and everyone like that. Like do right by everyone. So that was my main concern. But other than that, like it's been an amazing experience. I've had ambassadors join me almost every stream. Actually, I end up with like a horde of ambassadors just hanging out with me. I'm like, okay, that's cool.
Do they sleep at all?
Even like sometimes I'll like Yeah, I don't think they do, honestly. I think that we need to have an important discussion on like whether or not they sleep and if they are human.
Hmm.
Because they do a lot. They do a lot. Oh, sorry. Got a little lag here. Oh, okay.
You'll
Okay,
come
we're
back.
good. All right. Oh, whoa. Okay, I think we're good.
Oh,
Okay.
I would hate to think it's a dragon, but that's local, so you won't be able to see the dragon the same time I do. Who got you in?
There's a dragon up there. Oh, sorry about that.
Oh, there you go.
1 second. I'm sorry.
But good to have
Got a little
everybody here
derp
in
going
chat
on.
too.
Hold
For those
on.
people that aren't knowing exactly what's going on right now, despite the fact that Skulls is melting, we're here live at VKet, and of course this is VRChat, and we're kind of just talking with a lot of people that are part of the program. Of course, we have our booth here in Isekai Marche, or Marche, I guess it's Marche, the Eclipse version, and obviously VKet is still going to be around for the next couple of days. I don't want to say a couple of weeks, but it's been a couple of days. Um, and
I
and
know it flew by.
and honestly, you can come and visit too. And even if you don't have a VR headset, you could always come in on desktop. And you better come in this weekend, because if you don't come this weekend, there's like 12 worlds. There's like 12 worlds.
Yeah,
There's a
there's a
mess.
lot.
There's a mess of music VCat stuff, which has been absolutely fun to go in and explore too. Take us a little bit down that road too. Talk to us a little bit about some of the music VCat stuff that, because I know you said you wanted to get more into musician stuff, musical stuff.
Yeah, I knew there was a music scene in VR chat. I feel like there's a music scene anywhere where you can have many people gather together. Even in Fantasy Star Online too. It's a more niche MMO, but we have like a DJ scene too. So I knew there was a big music scene here, but seeing the diversity of everyone's experience is insane. Like some of the things people put together. Um, some people have like more simple DJ sets. Some people have like whole experiences connected to their music and like the drops, and it's amazing to see what people can do beyond just making music or just like playing and like presenting music. It's like they can make it a whole full experience. And I used to love going to places like EDC and like festivals and like Warp Tour and like all kinds of stuff. So it brings me to that scene. But like if you sprinkled abracadabra magic all over it to make it just like, I don't know, just like pulls you in,
You
man.
know,
And like the thing is, like with some of the music VCat stuff, that's where I've actually ended up losing some of my like the longest time because I just kind of like vibe and chill, or I'm dancing, or I'm like, oh, I like this. Okay, let me see what else. Okay, I want to hear the next song, and then I'm lost, and then an hour went by, and I'm at like the same booth, and I'm like, okay,
I will say
but
that
it's
like
awesome, man. Like,
now is such a fantastic time for you, especially. It's kind of the reason why we've built VRCDJ Live, is just because for me to be DJing in here since 2019, and the scene hadn't really been
mhm,
growing at all until about 20. It started growing at 2020, but then it started to explode in
mhm,
2022, and during that COVID time. It's just that there's a ton of events, there's a ton of DJs, there's a ton of music, and there's all sorts of different genres and vibes, and it's fun. It's even
yeah,
funnier too, even just sitting here being like, well, we're celebrating the last few days of VCat while they're actually doing the VCat thing in Japan, just having a good time. Is
yeah,
it's
VCat
it's so
real,
difficult because the timeline for most DJs in here on Fridays and Saturdays is that it is constantly booked between the hours of 2 p.m. in the afternoon till 5 a.m. the next day, both Friday and Saturday, and it just kind
yeah,
of rotates again. And for you to come into
yeah.
VR and want to do more VR stuff, I mean, good on you, because there's so many events that happen, and now is actually also a big perfect time because of the holiday. People are going to get their new headset, they're going to get their new hardware, and
Yeah,
we're just going to start it
exactly.
all over
Yes.
again. Yeah.
I love it because the experience has been just like, I mean, with VCAT virtual market overall has been really, really good. I mean, I've made some really good connections, and I've talked about this before, but I feel like VR chat got a really bad rep for at one point. And like even I would come in here and I'm like, I don't play in public rooms. I don't go into instances that are public or whatever. It's like invite only, maybe invite plus. But like it kind of felt like I was avoiding people, and now it's like I love my interactions with people in VR. It's amazing. So this definitely shows like the bright side to VR and VR chat in general.
It's interesting too,
I definitely don't think it
especially.
deserves the bad rep.
Yeah, it's tough. It really is tough because the people that are in here, we enjoy what we do in here, and everything else on the
Hmm.
outside with all the weird negative YouTube videos comparable to some
Yeah.
of the social media posts. I know we've been talking a lot about age verification, how some people want it, some people don't want it,
Hmm.
some people don't want to give up some just a small bit of personal information about it. But again, they
Yeah.
have their own opinions on it, and they can handle it. But social media is such a monster when it comes to that sort of thing. And I will also say too that there was a struggle between this was many moons ago, so for me to bring it up, it's like it's gone now. But there was a struggle between
Hmm.
what was considered acceptable for what you should be wearing in a public instance compared to a private instance. And we had some in public. I mean, obviously, you go to a public instance, anything goes because like you got some kids running around, or
Yeah.
they're being silly, or sometimes you'll see some people that are racist or whatever, and you're just like, oh, get away,
Yeah.
you weirdo. But at the same time,
I mean, that's
it's a public
inherently
instance.
any online game with a voice chat. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
yeah.
any online game with a voice chat. That's why actually in most games, the first thing I do is turn off the voice chat.
There you go.
I'm like, I'm gonna talk to my friends, people I invite. It's a little different here. It kind of like keep things open. But I mean, I'll admit at one point I was kind of like that with here. I would just turn the mics down until my friends were around, and I'm like, oh hey.
Yeah, but that's
Uh,
always a good
but yeah,
exercise to do here too, and I think a lot of people forget that that's an option to do. Is like I can't even tell you
hmm
how many times I've had people come up to me and say, "Have you? When was the last time you went to a public version of drinking night?" And I'm just like, I don't. Like I
yeah,
don't
no.
drink as often as those people do. They like to do that, but obviously they're
hmm
doing it because of the meme saying, "Do you ever go into a public instance to see if people know you from the meme?" And I'm just like,
Yeah.
no, I mean, yeah, at the same time, no, but yeah, but like people are so hesitant and so timid to go to public instances because they don't want. I think people realize what it was back in the day. It's gotten a little better, but talking from people that
hmm
actually take that next step, and we were actually talking with I'm Naku a couple of weeks ago about how he performs in public instances. He plays piano in public instances, and I go, "How does that
hmm
work for you?" And he goes, there's really not any immediate action that needs to be taken, despite maybe one or two people that run around and cause chaos. Everybody else is very cool.
hmm
So it kind of makes me think like, do I really want to trust this system again? Do I really want to go into a public instance and
hmm
enjoy ourselves? Even in VKet, like, I think it's tougher for VKet because there's so many instances and so many worlds. But I think it's just a matter of finding
Yeah.
that public instance that have just a few people in it that you might be able to talk to. You might be able
Just
to
like
enjoy
vibe
yourself.
with.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
like your positive view on it because again, a lot of people in here,
hmm
and again, not to sound negative about it, but let's just say we do get an influx of VTubers that want to do more VR chat stuff. I would hate to think that there would be someone
hmm
ready to try to, snipe you in game and try to find out what map you're in and try to cause chaos.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like,
hmm
that shouldn't be. You should come in here and have a good time and relax and stuff. Enjoy
The
everything.
biggest thing is it's such a small amount of people, but like on all sides, all fronts of the negativity, it's such a small amount of people, but they're so loud. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So it seems like that's how VR chat players are, VR chat people are. But realistically, like unless I go into some crazy full public instance, like I go to freaking McDonald's and I go to the highest public instance, I'm in most cases I'm having an okay time. Like most people are kind of like leaving you be, or they'll be like, hey, what's up? And then if you don't want to talk, they kind of like get it. But or you find someone you just vibe with, you're like looking for an avatar and they're like, oh, haha, and you just make a friend. But it's really not as bad as people like to think it is. But I would say for like VTubers out there, you probably should like start with like invite rooms. If you do end up liking it enough to get VRChat Plus, having groups is awesome too. You can have a group for your community. I have an afterlife group, so you can make group instances and like just your community can join and things like that. Just to kind of keep that extra wall up. Also, shield mode is your friend. Shield mode is your friend if you have it set up properly. So if you do run into those situations, people you can just knock it to being like you can't really hear or see people who aren't on your friends list, and it's like those of you who stream on Twitch, it's just like shield mode on Twitch in a sense, like how it goes into sub only mode, or emote only mode sometimes. So yeah, so there are precautions you can take. I mean, it's just like being outside in public or being at a convention in public, you know? Like there's going to be people who are bad actors because it amuses them, or they want to get a reaction, or they're bored. And then, I mean, the majority of people there are there because they want to have a good time and they want to enjoy what's around them and meet people and all that good stuff. So,
When it comes to
yeah.
your interactions as a VTuber, I know from the DJ side of things, I know what I experience from a lot of floaters and people that want my attention. What has been
Yeah.
I would assume I know what the immediate answer is, but what do you think has been the worst types of distrustful interaction that you've had to deal with this past year?
Hmm. Well, let's see. So from I guess just random people is like sometimes people ask you like a question about yourself just to like kind of exploit that thing, you
Uh-huh.
know? Like you talked about the race thing, like someone will be like, "Hey, are you really like this race?" And then you'll be like, "Yeah, okay." And then they just like call you everything that they could say under the sun, and you're like, "All right."
Sure.
So like I've dealt with that to extents. I think that's really it. Otherwise, like I mean, I'm not like a super huge VTuber, so unless I'm in a space with like kind of people in the same circle as me, like no one really like bugs me or anything like that. Sometimes when I am in those circles, like I do get kind of like crowded, or because I'm a VTuber, people start like pitching their YouTube at me, and I'm like, I'm just here to hang
Uh,
out.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
I get it, but I'm just here to hang out. Like let's all just have a good time. That's the focus. Yeah. So I mean, it really hasn't been that bad. I don't let people disturb my peace, to be quite honest. If there's people kind of like disturbing the positive vibes and everything like that, I am very quick to hit the block button. I don't do it all the time, but if it does bother me, I will hit the block button and move on. And that's really what you can do. Like just don't linger on that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
honestly. Don't let people like disturb your peace. Just, have for good vibes. I like good vibes. I vibe with good vibes,
There you
so
go.
I try to make sure my space always has that and the people around me always have that too.
I know recently,
And it's
as
easy to take things personally,
it
you know.
is. It is, especially I know a lot of my friends who there's a couple of them that don't want to start streaming because they like I keep telling them that auto mod exists and they were like cool, but they still
Hmm.
don't want to deal with those types of scenarios. They just want to go in and have a good time. And I'm just like, well, you could have a moderator
Yeah.
too. But there are also still a lot of people I like right now that are hesitant to even like stream on their own because
Hmm.
even though they are in their own safe space, there are a couple of bad apples that come in to challenge that. And the way that they need to be looking at it
Yeah.
is, if you come into my house, I'll kick you out. Like if you come into my house and
Exactly.
you test
Exactly.
you say, oh, I don't like your this, I don't like your that, and I'm like, then why are you here? Like, are you just trying to rattle the bones? You trying to poke the
Yeah.
bear? Like, I will definitely throw you out. Like, I have no problem with
Exactly.
that.
I usually tell people, I'm like, there's other people you could watch if you want that. Bye.
Yeah,
You
there's
know?
there's a DJ
But
on
I
the
mean,
line.
I was born with like thick skin, you know?
Mm.
Like my family is Caribbean, so they don't hold back on anything. Like I don't even know if they know what candy coating is. I don't think they
Mm.
even understand that concept. So I've always been like raised with people who are blunt, or like some family members just don't like you, so they just want to make you upset and like say all kinds of things to you. And like I was used to that from people related to me by blood. So to me, like I can shake off. Like I'm not gonna say every comment just like goes like there's every once in a while one kind of like hits hard and you're like ow, and like not everyone can deal with that. So
Mm.
I mean, it as much as I would love people to find the joys of like streaming and creating their own community, I totally understand people not willing to like make that change or make that jump, because like it is people will say things like you can't avoid people. But you can like I said, set up mods, auto mod, or like you mentioned before, like the mods and auto mod and things like that, and kind of protect yourself as best as you can. But you also have to kind of understand your limits and understand those people. The people who say the worst things to you are usually the people who have no connection to you or your stream. They
Mm.
say it, they make you upset, and then they move on to the next person. And just like that, you should just move on. Like, if you took it personally, please don't, because like they don't know you, you know? They don't know you. They're just saying something to get a reaction out of you, and then moving on to the next person they can make upset. So
You can also
yeah.
block and report them in here too, and I think that's one of the benefits of being in here.
Mm-hmm.
Is just like, every time you jump to a world, that does give you the warning to be like, don't be a troll, don't be an idiot, choose your words. If you
Yeah.
don't
They
do
give
that,
you like
then
they
yeah,
plaster it right there. You
like
can't say you missed it.
yeah, oh sorry, I had to go to the bathroom, I had to get a snack or something, I didn't read it. Like, yeah, right. I mean, it's always
Yeah,
there. No doubt. And honestly too,
exactly.
like, again, for you to come back to VRChat and be able to showcase
Hmm.
that maybe in the future, I think that's going to be a real nice stepping stone for the future of streamers in
Yeah.
VRChat in general. I know a lot of the recently,
Hmm.
and it's nothing really has been fixed on it yet because nobody knows how to deal with it yet. Is there are still a ton of streamers in the VRChat community that would rather be by themselves in a private instance with the camera where they're just
Hmm.
talking to chat the entire time, when in reality this is a social simulation. We want you to be a part of something much
Hmm.
larger with a ton of other people to go explore all the rest of these maps, go play
Yeah.
games, go. I keep talking about today that I have a group of friends that legit spend most of their time, like 3 hours of their time, in the volleyball world, and they play volleyball and they have a team
Hmm.
for volleyball, and it's gotten so
That's
cool
so
that
cool.
they actually spent time making their own volleyball uniforms, and so they have a whole team
Oh
of
my
it's
gosh.
really cute, but they spend a lot of
There's
time there.
everything in this game, I swear.
Yeah,
There's
and
everything. There's every type of interest or hobby you have. There's a group for it in here. And even if
mhm.
you're like that's impossible to do in VR. No, it's not.
I guess one of the pleasures is that people that are watching, like, please go watch Skulls when they do go into the game to do VR stuff, because I promise you, nothing is greater to watch than someone who has come into VRChat much later on to get to explore everything for the first
Yeah.
time, because you get those interactions, you get those
Yeah.
reactions, and especially on my end,
Exactly.
I've been to a lot of worlds. I've had my share of experiences, but I love to see, when your eyes glow and you get excited over, like, like,
Hmm.
oh, mini golf, I want to play the mini golf. Like, of course you want to play. I want to play mini
Yeah,
golf too.
exactly. Yeah.
So that's super,
Yeah.
super, super neat. And obviously they chose a very good person to be a collab streamer for VKet as well, just because of the fact that
Aw.
you get to run
Thank
around
you.
and enjoy it and be super thrilled over what virtual reality really can do. Like the fact that we're not just sitting in here and
Yeah.
being mere dwellers or constant raging alcoholics or whatever. And all of that is
Yeah.
super, super cool. So I mean, obviously, if you ever do stream VRChat, please hit me up, because I'm the best second chair to
Yes, of
run around and be an
course.
idiot for. This is just my
I
personal
love it. I
face,
love it.
my business
Yeah,
face.
I'm glad I made a jump back onto VR chat 100% because like I never really like got super connected. I think last year or the year before for my birthday, someone made me an avatar and then I kind of felt that connection, but realistically, I was it was either me doing some big event with my friends like my birthday or something like that or just sitting by myself. And then sitting by yourself does get boring, you know.
Sure.
I'm just trying to get into like just chatting streams and stuff like that because I have to be doing something at all times. So I'll be
Hmm.
like just chatting and then like 2 seconds in I'm like all right, let's go play games. You know what I mean? So I do understand that like experience, and I watch some streamers do that. But my favorite VR chat streams and like videos and things like that always include some kind of interaction, even if
Hmm.
it's just one other person in that world and them making that world into like a whole scenario, or them exploring a world for the first time, or, someone showing someone something for the first time, or teaching someone how to play a game, or like those are always the best interactions. And that's why I kind of did want to branch out and like do this. And I'm really glad they chose me as a collab streamer. Like I am absolutely honored. I'm absolutely grateful. This has been such a wonderful experience. And my last stream for VCat's gonna be tomorrow night, technically Sunday morning during the
Hmm.
last day. So yeah, I have a radio show to do after that and then or before that and then I'll be jumping in and kind of just seeing how many worlds I can get through. Like I mentioned before. So that's going to be really fun. A lot of those worlds I'm going to be seeing for the first time. I'm going to start with the worlds I haven't seen. And if I can go back and visit some of those worlds I really liked, if I have enough time, then I will. So we're going to be on for a very long time doing that and just like kind of experiencing together. I think I might just make some public instances and like have you guys be able to jump in and join me if you want. So
That's another fun thing too, that is, it's again, it's very hard to like kind of, it's kind of like standing in the street with your arms wide open, expecting anyone to come and give you a hug. Like you're hesitant because you don't know who's going to charge at you, or someone who might give you a hug, or someone who's much larger that'll give you a hug, or tiny or something.
That's a great explanation.
Yeah. So, but that's kind of it, is just like being able to, and that your chat and your following will surprise you. You know, sometimes some of those people genuinely really want to interact, and some of them are a little hesitant, but they want to interact. So giving them that option is great. But of course, you know, if you do have a bad apple, you're more than welcome to kick them. You know, be like, get out of here, you fool! Like, don't be silly about it. But that's the thing, is like, I want to see more of that.
Now. It's so easy.
Yeah, I want to see
for sure. Yeah.
When it comes,
and like the thing is, I like making a space where people feel comfortable though. Like you mentioned, some people are like, yeah, I want to jump in, woohoo, and they always like jump in with you. And then there's the people that are not going to immediately just jump in with you. Like they're trying to feel it out. They don't know if they're going to, like, a lot of people are really, really self-conscious. And like the thing is, I try to like show that part of me to my viewers too, because I'm very like self-conscious. I overthink about things, and like I'll overthink myself into like not welcoming myself in a scenario that's like, hey, you want to join? And I'm like, what if everyone hates me by the end of the, you know? So I like try to let them know, like, hey, we're not here to judge you. If you want to join, you can. If you don't, there's always next time. And sometimes even just that, like, patience that you have with people, not forcing them, encourages them to join. They're like, you know what? Fine, cool. Thanks for being so nice about it. Thanks for being so understanding. I'm gonna join and hang out with you. And yeah, I love it. I love it. As much as I love this being my first experience, I love my friends that I've brought in who have been like, I've never seen this before. And I'm like, yeah, me neither. This is awesome. You know, we just like go run around together and like hang out and enjoy it. So yeah.
So since this is kind of your big return to VRChat, what are some of the things that you hobby mostly that you want to start experiencing in VRChat?
Definitely events. I have some ideas for events. I don't really know where to start with them, so I'll probably spend some time like going to other people's events, and maybe if I could collab stream at another VKet event, I'll try for that. I've been thinking about doing something related to fashion. I love Fashion Week. I absolutely love Fashion Week. I love fashion shows. Specifically like Rihanna's fashion shows are huge. Like they're huge performances, and I would love to see something like that. And I guess in a way it would be similar to the virtual market, just on a smaller scale, and like focused on like the outfit designers and like what they can present, you know? So that's something maybe in the future that I'll consider doing once I actually can get a grip on what I need to do, because I want it to be successful, you know? And there's always things we don't know. And as much as I've done tons and tons of events, but as much as I've done that, like VRChat's still new on that aspect. As the other thing is like outfits, like maybe I want to get into designing outfits. I've always liked design, so I don't know where to start with that either, but that definitely, like, seeing some of the things people made definitely like sparked something in here, and I kind of want to get back into that. Of course the music scene, as we talked before, and like just doing things to like, I don't know, community related stuff. Like now that I know there's so much we can do with that and so many people willing to partake, you know, I thought it would be like my community and everyone else would probably like troll, you know. I kind of had that idea of VRChat, but like now that I know there are people who are looking for fun, exciting, positive things to do, I would love to like do more of that for them, even if it's just small get-togethers while I'm streaming and like, let's hang out here, you know, you guys are welcome to join me, or like whatever.
Actually, funny enough, we had two members of my community, Sinrith and Coyote, or I call him Coyote, that they originally were just kind of hanging out in VR, and they, funny enough, they got engaged during one of my DJ sets in VR. So it was a Saturday night, and they got engaged, and this was several years ago, and they recently just tied the knot. They got married for real. And man, oh man, they're cute. They're
Oh,
a cute couple.
congratulations.
They're super super cute couple.
Congratulations.
But
That's
with
awesome.
Sinrith, she
Hmm.
makes models and she makes clothes. And to her success, she actually I'll let you I'll show it to you a little bit later afterwards. Because we all
Hmm.
have access to it.
Yeah.
But she made a really cute Fennec girl avatar, a Fennec fox,
Hmm.
and it has beachwear, and it became
Yeah.
such a beautiful piece that it's, first of all, it's a green model, so it's a excellent
Hmm.
model grade, and it has a ton of facial features and outfit changes and
Yeah.
stuff, and it's on your Publix menu for public avatars that you can wear,
What?
that she
Like,
actually was
oh,
able
really?
to, yeah, she submitted it, and it's again, it fits all the categories, and it's gorgeous, and it fits right in the public criteria. So anybody, like, you could have been a furry, you
That's
could have been an
amazing.
avatar robot, you could be a goop, you could be an alien, you could be whatever, and then the Fennec Fox is there
Hmm.
too, and it's just like, for her, that is such a good checkmark moment to kind of finish things off
Yeah.
for her. So
That is
again,
amazing.
amazing things that happen in here, but at the same time, like, I feel
Yeah.
like the negatives always outweigh the positives, but the positives still have enough weight to be like, oh, this is really exciting. So when it comes to, what I'm trying to say is, when it comes to like making clothing and stuff, as you probably have seen a lot of times in VKet, there's a lot of accessories and a lot of shoes and a
Yeah.
lot of obviously outfits too. But building those aren't, it's not as difficult as you may think, you know. So I would love to see how you
Yeah.
use your fashion knowledge to not only maybe sketch it or get someone to sketch it, and then you going into Blender and doing that work. Because it's truly rewarding
Yeah.
at the end of the day to be able to make something of your own, but of such a high caliber that you could just be like, this is what I do.
Yeah. And like I think I'm definitely gonna get onto like sketching designs because I've been doing like drawing for a long time. It's the blender part. I feel like I'm gonna get so confused. But it's just certain things I pick up on like immediately, and certain things it doesn't matter how much you bash my head into it or how simply you explain it. I just am like,
I got you. I got you.
you know what I mean? So, um,
Plus, the
it's
YouTube
just
videos
I don't
don't
know.
help on
I
that
would
too.
really
Like,
love
you
to
try to
explore
search
that.
up Blender tips for VR chat, and then you got one guy who's just like, "Hi guys, welcome to my channel, and we're gonna talk about Blender stuff today." And you're like, I'm
Yeah.
not like engaged at all with your low voice,
Yeah,
sir.
so yeah, I end up like zoning out on some of those too. Like I'll be watching a
Yeah.
tutorial, I have to watch it like 20 times because I end up zoning out because like, it's just not like pulling me in. But
Well, it's an
yeah,
open
I don't know.
invitation too.
I'm excited to try new
I'll
things.
let you know, because like everything I made here was kind of, I made all the clothes I make is what I
Yeah,
make. So yeah, I mean
I didn't
I
know that. I've always thought your model was awesome ever since I met you. I'm
yeah,
like, your model's so cool. I love
it's
the like
minor
LED
and
color.
punk, and you know, it again, it's just, again, this model is like 3 years old. Like,
Yeah.
I made it so long ago, and now if I were to, if I were to actually put my brain power to where the new technology and all the shaders and stuff, like, I could probably come up with something neat. But yeah, and almost anybody can do it. You know,
Yeah.
I'd be more than happy to kind of showcase all that stuff off to you. Now, before we get going,
Yeah,
because I know we're
yeah.
running out of time a little bit for the rest of the show here, but kind of tell everybody at home what to expect, what you got coming up for the rest of the year, and do you have any plans for New Year's? What's going on? Well, what's going on for the
Um,
holidays?
Well, as being someone in the event scene, all of my friends are having New Year's events, so I'm going to be bouncing around all over the place. I'm also going to be doing a stream on New Year's Eve leading into New Year's. We were talking earlier about kind of like starting on a different foot, and this year started a little rough for me. And we've had some ups and downs this year. We've had some ups and downs just in the entirety of me doing content creation. So I kind of want to do something where like I talk to my viewers, we kind of go through some of those bad moments and those things that are hard for me to move past, and we really, really grow and get past them. And we try to do our like New Year's resolutions together and things like that. Maybe to encourage people to like stick to those because I totally understand being like, "Whoa, I'm gonna go to the gym and da 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 da." But like making some that are easier for you to like just do without really like going outside of your comfort zone. And then of course we want those others that we want to shoot for like doing something a little different. So yeah, it's gonna be a bonding experience and me just hopping around other events because like everyone is having a New Year's Eve party. so So yeah, yeah. But other than that, 2025 is going to be a big year, big year. I feel like a lot of good things coming in the realm of VR and other things that I'm partaking into. So yeah, if you guys want, you can stick with me for 2025. Mhm.
Yeah,
I'll be there.
I don't know if you know,
I
but
ain't going nowhere.
in VR chat we also have our own New Year's Eve map that comes out every year, like a day before New Year's Eve, and we get
Yeah.
to watch the
I've
ball
seen
drop
it.
for
I've seen it.
every country. Yeah, um,
Mm-hmm.
and
I've seen it. We actually not last year, but the year before, I was in a VTuber group and we actually like went there and then we like went to like drinking nights together and like did our own thing and like played games. But yeah, before that we actually like went there and like saw the ball drop and it was really cool.
but that always tends to be a really popular thing around here during that time. As far as Christmas is concerned, I don't know. Everyone's doing Christmas, but at the same time, too, like you're also going to be feeding into the people that get the new hardware and the new PCs and stuff too. So having them come in and enjoy all that, it's just as
Yeah.
thrilling it is for you as it is for them as well.
I'm excited for my friends to get like quests and like I just upgraded to the Quest 3. I got one for my birthday. And luckily my birthday is in November, like late November, so I get like the holiday sales around my birthday.
Perfect.
So I got a Quest 3 and it's been awesome. It's been absolutely amazing as an upgrade. So yeah, I can't wait to see my friends like get their first VR sets or like very simplistic setup so they can do some of this stuff. I know like a lot of people have seen me do like the virtual market streams and now we're like, I want to play VR chat. So kind of
Plus,
crazy how like events like this aren't just for the people in the game. Like people see it and they're like, that is awesome. I want to partake in that, you know?
it's also really great too, and I know I hope we open the door for the past couple of weeks to discuss having VKet Real not only just in Japan, but we gotta have to have it somewhere in the States. I know a lot of the
Yes,
people
I
I've been
would
talking
go.
to. Yeah, I've been talking to a lot of people, and they're just like, "Oh, we should get it in Canada. We should get it somewhere on the East Coast because obviously TwitchCon's on the West Coast, and we need something here on the East Coast." But
Yeah.
I mean, I that is something we could probably talk about. And you know what? We've got the networking, and
Hmm.
the we could probably try to get something like that to work. And I think it'd be absolutely wonderful to do. So
Oh yeah,
there's so much to
definitely.
look forward to in the year.
There are, and I like VCAT, the virtual market has made me even more like optimistic, seeing like what people can do. Like I'm excited to see the virtual market next year. You know, I've gone to the
Hmm.
World Hop and we've seen some of the stuff that they've done in previous years, and just seeing the growth and like just the dynamicness of like the booths and everything. Like next year's going to be a banger then if this is like just a year past like oh my god it's just I can't even put it in words. It's awesome. I'm really excited.
Well, Skulls, thank you so much for coming by and hanging out and chatting with us for a little bit.
Of
Again,
course.
before you go, when you want to tell everybody where they can find you.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Just briefly, I wanted to mention that I'm an official creator for Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis. If you guys like MMOs or Phantasy Star, I'm also in the Sega creator or Sonic creator community, Sega creators, and you know I've been doing the VCat collab streams. So you guys can check me out on my YouTube channel. I'm going to be focusing a bit more on YouTube. We've been kind of popping off with some of our videos lately. So youtube.com/, at Skulls Nightshade, I think is for the handle thing. You can just search Skulls Nightshade, you'll find me. I also have a music channel there, Skulls Nightshade Music. And Twitch is my main platform. We got about 21K on there, and I stream regularly. We're gonna be streaming a little bit less, but my streams are gonna always be popping. All right, we might have one chill stream a week, but we're always gonna be doing something really, really cool. That's the goal for next year. And yeah, of course, Spotify too. You guys can look up Skulls Nightshade. I got 2 singles on there, Act One and Story Mode. Act One is my baby. I hope you guys love it. And yeah, that's about it. And thank you so much for inviting me. This was awesome. I'm glad we
Yeah,
got to talk.
I wish we could do
Hmm.
some more remote broadcasts, but I haven't had any idea of how to do that quite yet. Especially with VRC DJ Live, we talked to the
Yeah,
DJ and the DJs in the DJ community. Yet Lund wants me to talk more
yeah.
with the VR chat community, and I'm just like, there's so many of them, so I don't really know.
There's a lot.
There's so many to talk to. I wish I had all of the time on the planet, but per usual, thank you again for coming by. And for everybody that's chilling in chat right now, don't go away too far because our next guest, we're going to be sitting down with Ghost Quartz to kind of discuss everything on on the YouTube side as far as creating content and getting a good idea of all the different events and different communities. So stick around.